be on his form. So he has other access. Ms. Huizenga is asserting her right to privacy here under the Constitution, Article 1, Section 23. If this request were granted as framed, it would require her to produce her calls to her doctors, her attorneys, her business calls to her boyfriend if she has one, to her mother, other family members, and even the pizza delivery man. So these are private communications which have absolutely nothing to do with the Casey Anthony case. Another matter which was just addressed in the other motion is the matter of the media here. The media is entitled to do their investigation and print or comment on anything that comes into evidence. If all of these phone numbers from the beginning of time until today are produced, knowing the media here and their thoroughness, they're going to call every one of these people, even the pizza guy, and find out what they know. This is not a part of this case. It far exceeds anything that is reasonable, and we'd ask you to protect this. Here is a possible solution to this. Mr. Baez did write me a letter after I received the motion and told him I was going to object to it, and I did object to it, saying that he really only wants the information from January of 08 until the present date. Am I correct there?
Correct.
So I think you should deny it as requested because it's too broad and because it invades her privacy, but I have a possible compromise that everybody may be able to live with. I assume that what he is seeking here is any communications that Amy Huizenga had with his client or her family. And one way to do this would be, first of all, to set a reasonable time period, and I think the time period with Mr. Baez's modification would be between the dates of January 08 and the date of her arrest, which I believe is 10/18/08. 10/18 or 10/14, I'm not sure which. After that date, all of the calls between Ms. Huizenga, if there were any, and his client would be among the jail records he already has. If he will provide me with the numbers to his client, her cell phone and her home phone or whatever, what we will do is obtain the records from Ms. Huizenga's cell phone person and redact everything except the calls that he is really interested in. Now, if he comes back and says he's interested in calls to everybody, we're going to have a problem. But if he says, look, here's her cell phone number, here's her home number, here's her parents' number, whatever, we can probably live with that. But just not all these other people. And what he could get, and if the court, if the court wanted to look at all the cell phone records and determine if anything has been kept from him and tell him that's fine too. But my suggestion is limit it to those, if you're going to let him do anything here, is limit it to those dates and allow us to redact everything except things he's specifically interested in.
Okay, thank you. Any further argument on that?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else that wanted to be heard regarding objections?
Yes, Your Honor. Marty White.
Come on up. And who do you, I'm sorry, let me let you get up.
Sorry.
I apologize. Come on up.
Yes, sir.
Who do you
My name
represent?
is Marty White. I represent Jesse Grund.
Okay.
We have objected to the defendant's motion, and it's actually on several positions. Is that first, that of course he has a right to privacy. Now, I'm not sure if the court is aware, but Mr. Grund is a former law enforcement officer. He, like everybody else, every other citizen, does have a right to privacy, of course, through the Florida and U.S. constitutions, as well as the common law right to privacy. In addition, being a former law enforcement officer under Statute 119.071 4D, that statute is specific to keeping law enforcement officers